Hey everybody, Matt McGee here with the Wolfpack at eXp Realty. Thanks for stopping by the Free Agent YouTube channel. Today I was very fortunate to have a special guest on, Connor Steinbrook, who is one of my upline sponsors at eXp. Connor is a master at leadership motivation. He's a full-time real estate entrepreneur in addition to running a team of over 2,400 agents here at eXp. He's one of the top real estate investors in Texas. He's got the #1 residential real estate investor in our company with of over 84,000 agents. He's built the #1 real estate investment YouTube channel in Texas called the Investor Army, which has in excess of 40,000 subscribers. It's in the top 15 in the US. He's a top 50 influencer at eXp Realty, and he's the founder of the Agent Wolfpack, the fastest growing organization with the highest retention rate in our entire company, and growing at a clip of about 100 to 120 agents a month. So very honored and humbled to have him on the channel and get some of his insights as to his perspective on the company, as well as how to grow your team and yourself and your organization and set yourself financially free. So lines up perfectly with some of the values that I'm going through on this channel, as well as how you can exponentially change your life. So without further ado, here's Connor. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by the channel. Matt McGee here. Today I'm with Connor Steinbrook, and I wanted to take an opportunity to welcome Connor to the channel, the free agent, and wanted to just kind of go through a little bit of your background, Connor. I know that your skill set has been super valuable and important to me in my development, both as an agent, as a leader, and kind of really want to take a minute to portray that to anybody that may be interested in eXp, the Wolfpack, and joining my upline. So thanks for taking some time, man.
Yeah, man, always. So how much time do you want me give me to tell my story? Do you want me to go from like the beginning, my poker career, to the real estate investing, or you want me to just start from just the kind of genesis here at eXp where we started?
Let's start from the genesis at eXp. So I guess, how long have you been involved in real estate?
I've been in real estate about a decade now.
Okay.
I started out mostly as an investor. I was a full-time investor for the majority of my career before I actually got licensed. I came up wholesaling, flipping, buying rentals, owner financing, creating notes, selling notes, land deals, mobile home deals, and things like that. And along the way, I had always gone back and forth, should I get my license or not? I think a lot of investors have the same mentality where they're looking for off-market deals, and all of a sudden a $500,000 lead comes in the office that the homeowner wants $500K for. And the homeowner doesn't even know the difference between an investor and an agent. And you're like, well, man, I wish I had my license, but you don't have it. And there's a window of time to go get it now. And by the time you go get it, that lead's gone. So people on the investment, or at least investors, go from this weird kind of back and forth, should I get licensed or should I not? And I'd been in that spot. And then eXp came into the picture. I built my Investor Army channel. So I have one of the larger YouTube channels in the industry for real estate investing. And people just started assuming that I must have a license. And I had people reaching out to me. And for like a year and a half, just to be honest, I kind of blew everybody off. I would let them give me pieces and fragmented information, but I never really kind of took the time to have an open mind to actually look at it. And what happened for me was I was speaking at an event, a big owner financing event in Mississippi. And the event promoter, the guy that was holding the event, put me into a speaker's house with some of the other speakers. And the #1 speaker at our company here at eXp, the #1 team leader here at our company, eXp, with the biggest team in the company, was speaking at that same event. And so for 3 days, I stayed in a little house with this individual, and I couldn't really escape at this moment like I could, like a lunch meeting, because I was living with him. And that's when I kind of opened up and really was like, all right, show this to me, because I realized he was one of the top leaders from KW ever. And I was like, well, why would you leave being at the top of the company to go to this small startup company? And they showed me he was making $100,000 a month residual income with no debt, tenants, toilets, back-end management system within a couple of years. And I was like, okay, I get it. Yeah. And it was kind of like that Wolf of Wall Street scene. Literally, I was like, you prove to me you're making this type of money, I pivot what I'm doing. When he goes to phone, he's like, I called my boss, I quit, and I come work for you. It's kind of like that. I was like, if you prove to me that you're doing this and you've made this type of money and this is legit and I can see your bank account, this makes sense. I'm going to pivot and I'm going to go get my license and I'm going to run around the world and build this with you. And that's what I did. And since then, I joined eXp. I got my license. I recruited 40 people my first year. 40. That turned into over 150. My second year, we went over 300. Third year, over 600. Fourth year, we had over 1,000 agents and went a little over 1,600. And currently right now, we should hit 2,400 agents here in the next, I'd say, 2 weeks or less. Nice. We're closing on 2,400. And even with the state of the market, with kind of the craziness we're all in, we're still having anywhere from 100 to 150 new agents a month come into the new onboarding system with us. But that's kind of what happened. I was an investor first, kind of blew EXP off, didn't really understand what's happening, heard a lot of noise about it, figured there was something going on. Speaking at an event, got trapped in there. And that's when I took a deep look and I realized what the excitement was at. And it made sense. And I came over here and it's changed my life and changed a lot of our business or my business on what I plan to do going forward.
Sure. And then I guess for a little perspective, how long have you been with EXP?
Coming up on 5 years now.
Yeah.
So we're almost at 5 years. Yeah. And
and almost 2,400 agents. So that's some pretty wild exponential growth.
It definitely goes quick here. So you got to realize there's an opportunity at EXP that brokerages don't traditionally give to agents, which is to create wealth. And normally you have asked a real estate agent, did you get into the industry to create wealth or income? They're not going to say income. They're always going to say wealth, but they don't understand what creates wealth. And wealth is created through having all three income streams, active, equity, and residual, not through active income only. And so most people never create wealth because they spend 99% of their life doing only active income strategies, meaning working a job, sales, flipping houses, wholesaling properties. This is an income stream that's time traded. When your income stops is when your time stops. So let's say you're making $1 million a year selling houses, then you get sick, you have to take care of your parents, whatever it is, a life liability. You can't trade time into that income anymore. Where does your income go? So you have to have a residual income, which we have here at EXP, the revenue share model, and it's creating massive incomes, and the numbers are real. There's people making multiple six figures a month in residual income at our company right now. And then they have, so this is a time and freedom income stream, meaning you trade your time once and it comes in recurring. And then we have a third income stream, which is an equity model. We have 5 different ways to acquire stock awards. And the reason why stock awards can potentially create wealth for you is because if you own equity, or if you have yourself in equity positions and the market goes up, there's no allocation of your time to make that equity position grow. So if you had a stock and a couple of rental properties and you were sleeping for 12 months and you woke up, the markets went up, your net worth grew while you were sleeping, which means there's zero allocated time from yourself to make that expansion, which is why wealthy people understand how to create wealth. I need to have equity in things. I need to have as many equity positions as I can, as compared to one house versus 20 rental properties. Let's say the market goes up 10%. Which one increases more wealth? So the way you create wealth is you trade your time for active income. You be very limited with your expenses, live below your means, save up what's called disposable income, which is everything after taxes and living expenses, and then use this to get into as many residual income spots and equity positions as possible, so that when the next market rises, you create wealth and you avoid a lot of time to do it. But that's why they're coming to EXP, is we have 3 income streams and agents are creating wealth, and it's just a completely different model.
And the interesting thing along those lines is that you don't need high disposable income to build this, right?
Right.
So I liken it to, and I've heard you use this analogy before, I liken it to investment real estate, where you need debt to lever yourself and you're using leverage, but you need both debt and equity that you're putting into the property. Whereas you can collect or earn, I should say, residual income in this model without the risk of either the capital outlay or the debt, right?
Correct. And then there's more of a leverage component to it. There's a multiplier amplification effect for the exponential growth. So there's a one-to-one at time unit relationship to expand and grow your rental portfolio. So if I want to, let's say I bought a rental property, I borrowed money, leveraged it, I had to fix it up, I raised I forced the equity value up, and I went out and financed out with what you guys know is like a burst strategy. Now think about that, right? Time, money, stress, emotion, the things that we put into business, time, money, and emotion. How do I double my business? I'm gonna have to go through the same thing again. Same money I have to borrow, find a property, spend money for marketing, acquire with interest only loan, fix it up, come back and amortize out. That's not leverage. It has a one-to-one unit relationship, meaning I have to do it one by one. Now, if you look at the revenue share model that we have here, the reason why KW with their profit sharing system, what we're doing, you see these companies grow quickly, is the amplifier effect, the multiplier effect. It's leverage. So if I sponsor an agent, they have a 7-tier revenue share structure they can build as well. So a capping agent or a company is equivalent to $2,800 if you look at our first tier compensation model. Now, if you look at most rental properties, they cash flow between $200 and $400 a month. So right there, kind of hand in hand, about the same cash flow rate. So we're not being insensitive calling a person a house, but if you look at income streams, to double the house, you have to do it again. Yep. To double through agents, what do you have to do now? That agent that you sponsor can go out there and start sponsoring agents. So that would be like a rental property going and buy rental properties. I've never had a rental property grow legs and start walking down the street and buy rental properties for me, but it happens here. And so I've got a lot of great partners and really good friends of mine. You mentioned, Mike Sherrard. It'd be like buying hundreds of rental properties. He's gone out there and brought in hundreds of people to the company personally. So that would be like if your house grew legs and went out there and started bringing cash flow back to the business for you without your own effort. So what you can see there is there's leverage. And then on top of that, as an investor, I buy houses from some of the agents in my team from time to time as another income stream. So it's like houses that go find houses that bring houses for you back to buy for your other business. It's very leveraged when you think about it that way. But there is no money relationship as far as like the risk to do so. You don't have to have financeability, credit score, any type of stuff like this. The risk is not there because what happens if bring an agent over, they're not going to have a slab leak under the house or the electrical panel goes out, an agent, right? And then there's a multiplier effect that you can actually scale faster and help your partners grow quicker. And then on the backside, you're avoiding a lot of management expenses because if you own property, what do you have to do? You still have to collect checks. You still have to make sure the property is functional. You still have to make sure your tenants, there and alive and okay and everything like that. So there's a lot of extra working parts in most residual income businesses. In real estate, traditionally, it's through rental income, through just single family or multifamily. Then you have, owner financing notes. People create residual income through note as a note arbitrage, and then you have passive money lending. But how many people create enough money that they can just lend it out and make a big return on it?
Sure.
So this has become now, I think, the fastest, quickest, lowest risk way to scale a big residual income for someone in the real estate space. For sure.
Yeah, and that kind of dovetails it nicely into the business model, which is geography, right? So if you're buying rental properties nationally, you have a huge time commitment or travel, or you have to find somebody to go see them. Whereas we can expand globally, right?
Yeah, and that is a big deal. That's why you're seeing a lot of brokers come to EXP, is they understand the expansive nature of what EXP has done is very difficult to do. And a lot of times I talk to brokers where they have a good business locally. They may have 10, 20, 30,000 agents there in their market, but it's finite and the market share is capped. It's geographically restricted to their local market. And they've got partners that they used to work with that moved to different states. They may have a cousin or a mother or a brother that lives in a different country. And now they have the ability, if they come to EXP, to get outside their local market share, now tap into the national, global market share, work with friends and family that they hadn't otherwise. And the size of your market directly impacts the size of your business. So if you have a profitable business model, let's say you have a hamburger shop, you got one in one city. Now, what if you put one in multiple cities in your local market? Now you start doing that same thing in every state, and then you go to the globe. The bigger the market share, the bigger the income stream if the business model is profitable. And so what we're doing here is we give at EXP the ability to grow a global business if you want to. So in less than 5 years, our organization here at the Wolfpack is now possibly, I'd have to go back and look, I haven't checked a little bit. We were in every single state except for 2 just here recently, in every Canadian province, and pretty much the majority of all the countries we can operate in. So the global reach is massive.
Yep.
That is a big traction of the company. And I think also because it gives it gives agents and brokers that come here the ability to maximize on dollars and effort spent already with risk, meaning the time and money it took to grow their social media followings. Let's say you have a big social media following. How many of those are in your local market? So let's say you have 25,000 people following you. Maybe a few hundred, 1,000 are in your local market. So what about the other ones? You just built it for free just to have them there sit there? No, you're building a business, right? So now you have this following that you can access and tap into and find partners around the world. And so the investment of your effort, energy up into that moment of time and dollars is now having a better chance to be returned back to you. And it's opening up extra profit centers and value centers for agents that traditionally wouldn't have otherwise. And then being global, and the way our system's set up is it's really created a massive facilitation of ease to do referral deals. And I've never seen referral deals being passed around like we're seeing here at EXP, because the way we're interconnected and the way that people can connect with each other in back office, I've seen people come in and completely scrap their front end, local business. And all they're doing is, because they're great lead generators, now generating leads on a national level and running a massive referral business. And they just completely changed their business model because they're great at generating leads. But, it made more sense to do it this way, just massive leads in different markets and making smaller pieces of them compared to trying to run one business, if that makes sense, in the local market. So there's a lot of big benefits having that global wider market share.
It makes complete sense. And I think for anyone watching this, they're obviously able to see that you have a unique perspective, both from the understanding of the model, the ability to utilize and maximize leverage, as well as really promote and push leadership, which all 3 of those skills I think that you've mastered. Can you maybe just speak a little bit to how you've learned some of these things and how you've utilized them to take your business to the next level?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to grow anything big in this world, you need people in it. You're never going to do it as a solopreneur. No matter how many people tell you this, you just don't have to see that. So you're going to need people. And if you're going to have people, you're going to deal with people problems. And the reason why is because people have problems, right? And if you don't know how to move the mass consciousness of an organization, a football team, a team of agents, a big business like a brokerage with numerous different teams of agents run by different team leaders, if you don't have leadership skill sets, you're going to lead no one. And if you lead no one, you have nothing large. So the first thing is you need to work on communication. And the better you can communicate, the better you can communicate what's important to you and also create a convicted belief from others that would follow you. Because if a leader doesn't have the conviction to kind of bring certainty into uncertainty times and say, guess what, guys, we're going like this direction and we're not stopping and I know exactly where we're going, you're going to have people kind of floating around. So you have to have the ability to communicate your message and you have to have the ability to, have these leadership skills. Now, you have two ways to build skill sets. You have one, which is knowledge and wisdom, meaning other people's examples, reading their books, watching their podcasts, watching peers. Then you have street justice. And this is the real learning experience, which is I'm trying to go out there and take what I learned from knowledge and wisdom and apply it in the marketplace. And this is when you get kicked in the face, right? This is when you learn the real lessons. So you can only learn so much from other people's experiences. You have to actually get in there and do it yourself. Like, you can only learn so much about, you can watch a million videos on how to do your first listing. And you think you can know everything about how to do it. But then as you actually do it, you experience emotion. You experience weird things with like, oh, now I understand why I should have done it this time and all this, so you can only do so much. The first thing is you gain enough knowledge or you gain enough information through previous existing experiences from knowledge and wisdom from others to build a position yourself where you're confident enough that you got enough information that will work, that you push past the risk-taking nature to take a risk, to spend time, money, or emotion, right? Now I've watched 10 other people do this marketing campaign. I have the courage to now spend the money on the marketing, right? So we watch other people or study from other people to build our skill sets up enough internally and the courage enough to go out there and take a risk to do it. And then the real learning experiences comes just from doing it. So as you start to kind of work with more people, your leadership skill sets will pick up, but you need to have a lot of experiences with a lot of people to be a great leader, meaning you have to have experiences with new people in the business, old people in the business, successful people, people that are not successful, people that are doing all sorts of different things. And the more different individuals you have relationships with, the more different ways you can start to separate people into different buckets of their personality types and how they work with you. And one of the most important things that you need to understand is there's a massive difference between what's called a dictatorship or being a boss and then being a leader. They're completely different. One is telling people what to do. One is inspiring people what to do.
Yeah.
And this is a very difficult thing for a lot of young leaders is they like to have control, which is fine. And everybody wants control. But when you try to control people, that's when you control your future, which means it's not gonna be a good one. They're going to run away. Right.
Yeah.
So you need to learn how to do what's called gear shifting to be a great leader, meaning learning who people are and what they want and how to help them get it. And knowing what people want in the future and gear shifting for each type of personality, each type of goal set, and each type of person. So for example, I'm not going to talk to the same person that comes in that's working a 9-to-5 job that wants to do a couple houses a year as compared to someone coming in saying, I'm coming in to build $1 million income. Those are two different avatars, two different buckets of people that I'm going to work with differently as a leader. So a lot of what your leadership skill sets are going to come from as far as gear shifting and knowing what to say and how to say it and who to lead and how to lead them comes from just experience. But the first thing is you just start reading books on what you want to learn. Yep. So start reading books on leadership. I read a lot of books from a man named John Maxwell. So John Maxwell is where I got a lot of my kind of classical leadership training from. And then I also just mirrored and modeled people in my personal life that I wanted to be like. So even from like when you guys were little growing up, think about people in your, friends' parents that you guys had, and, people at church and, just people in your community. And then as you got older, anybody and everybody. So you model the ones that you want to be like and avoid the model of the ones you don't. And so you're kind of creating yourself along the way. And then the rest comes from experiences and other people's experiences. And you just kind of find your way along the way.
Yeah, that's sage advice. And it certainly has worked for me from an inspiration perspective. And I value these conversations and our calls. So for people watching this that either are at another brokerage or thinking about getting their real estate license or just out there maybe kind of poking around, seeing what our organization has to offer, what are the ways that people that join our team will get to experience some of these with you, whether that's through your 2 YouTube channels or some of the masterminds? What are kind of some of the things that people are able to gain access to you if they join my team or your team, etc.?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, EXP is a great company, provides a lot for the agents, has a great system on its own. But just like most brokerages, most don't really go into deep diving to like the really deep dive of buckets of real estate, pillars of real estate that a lot of us also dive deep into. So, for example, like what big brokerages do is they focus on production stuff and brokerage stuff, but do they talk a lot about real estate investing? Do they talk a lot about social media and digital marketing? And are they going down the third pillar, I call them, which is our third pillar would be personal development, personal education and mindset, self-esteem building, anxiety, coaching, and things like that. So there's three different pillars of buckets, I guess you could say, that people focus on in the space that we're in as agents, which would be investing, social media, and also personal development. So what we did is we created extra training systems on top of this to fill in the gaps that we thought was not given by the company. And this is not that it's like a requirement of our company to do this. Most all brokerages don't do this. This is why if you want to grow a team or be successful in anything in life, fill in the gaps of the value that people want in anything that's given value ahead of time that people came to for that opportunity, but find the gaps and fill those in, and you create yourself as the edge as far as people looking in, because you now have more value and the same value share between everybody else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what we did was we created training academies for pretty much most of these things. So we have social media training academies, we have YouTube training courses. These are hundreds and hundreds of videos to teach you guys the entire process of internet marketing, optimizing videos, how to pick titles, tags, descriptions, how to create, certain type of algorithm triggers, binge watching, click-through rates, post-launch velocity. So we teach you fundamentally how to start, set up, and grow social media platforms. And it's not that we just are talking about stuff we don't do. We've all, do this. We have background in doing it. And then, so we've got the course on that. We've got training academies on real estate investing. So agents get my house flipping academy. I had an agent actually make $1 million flipping houses. He came over here as an agent, went through a free course for real estate investing and made $1 million. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, so that you get access to our investment stuff, and we're doing certain things with that. And then we have courses on, overall team building. We've got a couple of different courses that we give you guys on how to build a team here at EXP, attraction strategies, communication strategies, how to overcome objections, the top converting conversations and presentations, how and where to find agents. So we have a training academy on how to help you build your team. And then we have a mastermind recorded areas or sections where we've recorded a bunch of masterminds that we run weekly live, and we've archived the best ones and put them in there on all sorts of different topics: time management, communication, mindset, like how to just anything, database management, pretty much start to finish entrepreneurship skill sets. So we run live weekly mastermind calls over and over and over throughout the week on different topics. You can hop on these calls with us. We do these every week. You'll be talking to me, talking to Matt, talking to Mike, everybody, right? So you hop on there and you get the call schedule of what the calls are each week, so you can plan your week around it. And then, so we do those, and then we archive them. And then all the time we're doing like little accelerator programs, 5-day sprint camps, 1 month extra education on how to do YouTube or how to do flipping houses and things like that. And then we run, quite a few other, things behind the scenes to help you guys grow your businesses, like EXP live presentations and reoccurring calls. And then we kind of operate as your partners as far as helping you grow your team. We'll hop on calls with agents. I was just on this right before with a broker of 300 agents with one of our agents. And this is what we kind of do is we hop on calls, we'll run numbers, we'll back into net sheets. So we've created an entire Wolfpack system to help partners come over here to work with us. And the Wolfpack means family, right? What do wolves do? They operate together. So in the solopreneur business, the lone wolf business, to run together helps. So we're sharing resources, sharing ideas, keeping each other supported, keeping morale high on the battlefield, especially in a time when we have a lot of external pressure. I mean, do you know anybody, any company in any industry right now that's excited? Probably not. So what we got is a tough year coming up, which is fine. I think a lot of people are, trying to put like a lot of fake excitement, like it's going to be a great year. It's just probably not, just to be honest. And people are like, well, what is your take on it? And I'm just kind of like, I don't really care. And I think it makes some people like, what do you mean you don't care? Because to me, business is a lifelong activity. I'm going to show up every day and work no matter what is going on in the marketplace. So it doesn't really affect me. So like, I knew what I signed up for. If I'm a fighter, I'm gonna get punched in the face at some point. When I signed up for real estate, like people ask me why I'm not selling my rental properties. I'm like, I put a 30-year loan on them to leverage them for retirement. I'm gonna have to go through multiple cycles. So I'm not worried about this one, just like I'm not gonna be worried about the next one. Now, doesn't mean I don't have frustration that I'm having to work harder for less right now. But in life, we have offense and defense. You're going to go through peaks and troughs, and you wouldn't even enjoy the winning streaks if you didn't have tough losing streaks, right? And if you didn't have tough years, the good years wouldn't be so exciting. And so I think a lot of people that are just, this is all new kind of market shifts and things like that. And you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs that have been around, they're just kind of like, it's just what it is, man. It's like, you know, you're going to throw an interception here and there. You're going to get hurt on the football field. You're going to get punt. You know, sometimes everything isn't a party. And I think it's that we just had such a long party run for most people. They're so caught in the good window that it's shocking them that they're actually now having this little rough time. But ultimately, people are going to work. If you work hard, guys, 2023 is going to be a blink, just like when you started this year. I feel like we just started this year. So my message to people is like, look, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. It's just going to be what it is. And it's not going to be anything different except a great character building year for you. Now you're going to make money if you work hard. Some of you guys are still going to have great years. People have great years and bad years, just not everybody, if that makes sense. So just
for sure,
stay focused, work hard, build skill sets, get what you can put in your bank account this year, but look through to 2023. Look for the next, like, position yourself for the next run. And then I also say for some of you guys that are a little bit lacking in business right now, this is a good opportunity for you to slow down in your business and kind of take some of the kinks out of the business that we let ourselves have happen to us when we're growing so quick. We get it kind of out over our own toes, if that makes sense. And because we're just having so much business come in, we kind of have some breaks in the systems and things that we need to clear up, some stuff that needs to be organized. So if your business is going down a little bit as far as like actual dollars coming in, focus on the other parts of your business that you've been neglecting, get it cleaned up, because as soon as this thing turns back on, which will be before you guys know it, I promise you're going to blink. Now you're not going to have time to go back and fix it, because now you're just working deals over and over again and bringing money in. So use this as a good thing. And it's not something like it's a bad thing, but it's not going to be just like this, like super awesome year. You're going to have to work. It's not going to be fun, but it's going to be a great character building year and a great positioning year. And I think you can still make a good income. Not just like fairy tale type of like, hey, every house sells right now. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to build skill sets. You're not just going to have houses sell themselves. And, but yeah, it's kind of
good opportunity to work on efficiencies, maybe take one step back to take 3 steps forward. Right. So that's kind of how I view it. You know, everything that you've talked about, you know, I've heard multiple times, and I think that that's what good leaders do, is they continue to reinforce positive messages. And it's been motivating for me and super helpful. So, you know, this is a good example of information that we get to hear frequently. So really appreciate you taking a little bit of time to give a little bit of background on yourself and kind of explain your philosophy on EXP, your personal business, and you know, your future and the future of others. One thing that you didn't talk about that I'm just going to bring up, because people coming to this channel will know this, but if they're coming just for your interview, my sort of niche is legal accounting and personal finance, coming from a commercial banking background. So I'm going to kind of fill in some of those little gaps from a pillar's perspective, primarily from a personal finance perspective, you know, where people can really, even if they are making a bunch of money, how can you maximize those dollars personally? Right. So, that's something that I've been passionate about and involved in since I was 14 years old. And, I've always been a big saver, and it's paid dividends for me. And I want to help people, along those lines. And it's just another avenue, that people get when they come to our team.
I mean, this is going to be a year that you need to invest in yourself as you have more time to do so. And the investment in yourself is by far the most positive investment you can ever make. It can't be taxed. It can't really be stolen from you. Like, your partner can't come steal your information out of your body. You can't misplace it. Like, you can't just, like, you know, misplace your crypto. I mean, think about all these people that have lost like millions of dollars because they misplaced it. So once you have it in you, it's yours. It can't be taxed. It can't be stolen. It can't be misplaced. So work on yourself during this, because, like, you know, some of you guys that follow me, if you go watch my channels, I'm a big believer in personal education. And what got me here was aggressively educating myself, reading books and podcasts. And I did that for like 3 or 4 years. I still do it, but I mean, like, there was a window where I wasn't making money. So it was just all personal education, all growth. And then as I started running businesses and actually had business activity, you guys know, now it's hard to keep reading the amount of books and keep doing all the podcasts. So some of you guys need to go back and kind of fine tune the system and understand that your body works the same way that your mind does. And if you build your body, but you stop going to the gym, it goes away. And if you build your mindset, this is why you don't remember anything from college or from high school. You had it, but you lost it. So what you don't use, you lose. You've heard that saying. And so if you are not constantly refreshing yourself with the best practices of the right information through your mind, you're going to lose at some point. So I would use this time, if you're not as frequently out there just driving the streets and pounding the pavement, running open house and doing all this, go back and kind of refine yourself and to what got you there, where you got that busy, and kind of tune it up a little bit and use this year. Because once this, we may struggle a little bit. I don't know. Nobody really knows until 2024. Most people think 2023 is going to be kind of tough. Some people think it's going to take off. I mean, believe it or not, there's people out there, and then they may be right. Nobody knows. This is why I just say, just stay in your lane and don't worry about anything else. Just show up and go to work. It doesn't matter what's happening around. And I learned this lesson in the 2008 crash. I was in a different industry. I was actually an online poker player, which is just kind of weird. But I didn't pay attention to the media. I didn't watch news, not because I was like, hey, it's negative, so I'm not going to watch it. I just didn't watch news. I was a kid. And I didn't even know anything was going on. Like I'd hear it every now and then, where like a housing crash and we're in recession, but I never put any attention on it. So I had some of the best years financially in my life, and I had no stress. I didn't even think that I even should be losing. Like, do you guys understand why you're stressing out? It's because people are telling you to do so. The market's crashing. Look over here, there's danger. A tiger's over here, a dragon's over here. Here's a monster. So if you don't focus on it, you can't be worried about it. So literally I crushed the last recession and had no idea I was even in one, because I didn't pay attention to it. Yep. I think a lot of people, if they don't put their attention on it, they're not going to panic themselves, because the panicking is what's going to cause them to adjust what they're doing, which is actually going to cause a negative result. So if people didn't know what was going on, they probably wouldn't even notice for the most part. There may be at my house or selling a little stuff. So ultimately, just understand, just focus on what you can control. Don't worry about the negative news and all this stuff, guys. And we have 100% track record in the history of this business of seeing the market turn back around. So it will turn back around at some point. Yep. So just work with that intent, and you're going to be fine.
Well, hey, man, thanks again. And for anyone watching that's interested, I'll have links to all Connor's social media, YouTube, Instagram, the like. I will have all the links below so you can look him up. And thanks for taking some time, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, love what you guys are doing up there. Excited to see what you guys do in 2023. And yes, you guys, if you want to reach out to Matt, want to meet me and him on Zoom or anything like that and have a conversation, what it looks like to work with us, just let me know, or let him know, and he'll let me know. We'll meet you on there. And on that, just believe in yourself, guys. It's going to be a great year for many reasons. To develop yourself, like we're talking about. So I know the media is crazy. Tuck your head down, guys. Don't listen to it. The ones that do are going to struggle. The ones that don't, they're going to do fine.
Let's grow. Let's grow.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
You too. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. It's always insightful to have a discussion with Connor. As I mentioned in the video, I'll put a link below to all his social media channels as well as mine. Hopefully you found it insightful. If this is something that interests you from a real estate agent perspective, being able to exponentially grow your business, also build out a team that can earn you residual income and set you financially free, please feel free to reach out to me. I can set up a call with Connor. We can have a 3-way call to discuss the benefits and kind of run some numbers and see how this company might be able to benefit you the way it's changing lives for thousands of people. So hopefully you picked up some tidbits, and hopefully I hear from you soon. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button for future content. As always, feel free to drop any questions, comments below. If there's something that we didn't cover that you would like to cover, feel free to reach out to me via DM and we can set up a discussion. Thanks a lot, and I look forward to hearing from you.